Welcome to CG Motion with another episode of Azimotion, the RPG game development series. So today we are gonna fix some melee attack issues with the previous episode, and then we will start implementing a melee attack combo system. In the last video, we were able to create our character basic melee attack animation. But if you can remember, there was this bug where the player slides when we move an attack. So let's fix that issue and move on to other things that we have planned. To resolve this issue, we can open our third person animation blueprint. Alright, so what we can do is we can blend our leg movement animation with our upper body attack. So to do that, can use our full body and upper body cache and blend them together. So I'm going to use blend layered blend per bone node, and then we can store these pose in a cache. So let's create a new cache, which I'm gonna name this as upper body move. Let's move upper body move cache. And I'm gonna use upper body move cache here, but we need to specify the bones or the layers we are planning to blend. Let's add those layers. I'm gonna add 3 layers. Let's blend this. Pelvis, you can find your bone hierarchy using mannequin mesh, skeleton tree, like this pelvis. For leg, these are thigh. Okay, thigh, calf, 1, 2, 3. So here we can add the depth. So I found these values by browsing and trial and error. So I think that is the depth of the hierarchy. And thigh left, if you can remember, thigh left, thigh R here, the rotation blend as well, and now I'm going to use blend by bit. Alright, let's hit and play. Our issue is there or not. Alright, if you can see when we are moving, the leg animations are playing and the play is not sliding. But there's this issue where when the player is not moving, the leg animation for the attack is not playing. So if you're not clear about that, let's again use the previous configuration, and yeah, if you can focus on the legs, there's a leg animation when attacking. So to get that, you can again check whether the player is moving, and if he is moving, we can switch between these two. And to check that, we can get the speed of the player and add a node blend pose by boolean. I'm gonna check whether the speed is greater than 0. It is greater than 0, that means the player is moving. We are going to use upper body move cache, otherwise we are going to use upper body cache. Let's output this and see. Alright, so now the leg animations are playing and player can move and attack, and the animations are playing. So this is what we expected, and we were able to resolve the issue like this. As for the next feature, I'm gonna introduce multiple combo attack. It's like when we click multiple like consecutive multiple clicks, there'll be different attacks instead of this one. So let's move on to that. Let's create a combo attack system. To do that, we need set of animations or animation montages. If you have followed previous tutorials or previous game development progress, we have already added these animation montages. We have primary melee A, primary melee B, slow montage. So I'm going to combine these into our combo attack system. So to get use of these animations, need to go into our character base class blueprint, which is ACB base character class. So we already have the input attack event, which is a user input on left mouse click. So we need a way to keep how many clicks or how many attacks that we have. To store that, I'm gonna create this integer variable. Let's name it number of attacks. Alright, number of attacks. Let's get this variable, and I'm gonna select, and we can change this pin type using let's choose animation, anim montage. All right, now we have several anim montage options. We can increase this. I'm gonna use 5 assets, so let's use primary melee A slow montage, primary melee B slow montage 1, primary melee C slow montage 1, melee D slow montage 1, melee E slow montage. Now that I have created the option, so when depending on the attack count, these animations will play. So I'm gonna hook this into here, and I can set number of attacks by, I can increment this when an attack happens. Let's do this, but before incrementing we need to check if the number of attacks are number of attacks, let's check is less than 5. Create a branch. Here I'm using the number of options that we have here, so we can check if the number of attacks are less than 5. We can increment. If not, we can set this to 0, which means we will reset the combo using this. All right, let's compile, save and play. Right, so now the combo animations are playing, but if you can see, there's this small issue where the animations are not completing. At least to a visible range. So, and we have another problem where when there are a lot of input coming in, so this can be overwhelming. So to get rid of that, we'll have to do some changes in the anim montages, add some anim notifications in the middle of the animations to whether this animation should be played from that point or should not be played. And to determine that, we can introduce a variable here called, actually it's going to be a boolean, can check that if only can attack is ticked, I can play the animation. Default value for can attack should be true. All right. As you can see, if we hit play now, we can only play reset only once. To resolve this, we can add Anim notifications, Anim notifies to our montage. So if you closely look at these animations, the animation will only complete in this region. So I'm gonna add Anim notify. Let's use Anim notify to validate tag and here we can add a reset combo. If you don't have a reset combo, just add like this validator tag. So let's save this, and we can do this for the other animations as well. Let's post this here, and since we already created validator tag to be here, we can move this a bit. 6 would do. Okay, and 30. Yeah. And notify reset combo. Save. Now we have B montage, and let's do this. Here the animation is different. It is completing somewhere here. Set Anim notify here, notify validator tag. Doesn't matter here. At notify reset combo. Alright, C, we have completed C. Let's do D. Set notify tag. Alright, we have completed D. Final one, E. Let's add any notification here to validate the attack, and around here to reset the combo. Alright, Now we have completed adding Anim notifications. So next thing we have to do is we can go to animation blueprint, and in there we have to add animation notify events. Animation we have validate attack and reset combo attack. Let's create a set of events here to call from our animation blueprint. Custom event, let's name this as validate attack and some reset combo. Let's compile. So I'm gonna set number of attacks to 0, so this will reset, and can attack to true, and same for the reset. Alright, let's call these two functions, two events inside the animation blueprint. Let's get our phone on to BP as a base character, and can do similarly, can call validate attack we can call reset combo. Alright, I think it should work. Let's hit and play. Something fishy is going here. Okay, we have correctly we should reset this on the reset combo. So my mistake. Okay, we shouldn't reset on this validate attack because in the middle of the animation we call the validate attack, then tick, so then the player would be able to, if you are not clear, let me open animation. So here Here we have validate attack. So when the validate attack event happens in the middle of the animation here, this will trigger and it will enable the can attack, which is false, and then it will increment the value and jump into the next attack animation. So if the time goes on, in this reset combo happens, everything will be resetted to 0. So if the multiple clicks doesn't happen in between these, the new animation won't. If the clicks happen in between this, it will trigger the multiple attacks. Otherwise, if the time goes beyond this point, it will reset and it will start from the beginning again. So I think this should work now. Let's see. Alright, everything works as expected. So later on we can tweak these values. For example, animation rate, we can reduce this to 6 and slow or speed animations, or slow down them. Right, I'm going to keep this as 1. So we can do these for individually, or we can improve the blueprint to get the feeling what we need later on with the development. So let's comment this as combo animation combo attack. So I think that's it regarding initial combo system. Alright, thanks for being with us, and I hope you learned something. Please add your comments, questions and thoughts, so it will help us to improve our tutorials as well as to answer your questions. And please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified with our new videos with the progress of the game. Alright.